Hello. Okay, so another short point I would like to make is how to properly frame, or no, I'm not gonna use it as advice. I'm gonna explain how I've observed it to work. So generally, we would be doing something and we have a fallback or a kind of an easy route, like a cop out. For example, you could work on something that you know is important to you, or you could chill and do something else. I don't know, watch Netflix or something, right? And a lot of us kind of resent ourselves for falling back into those escapist or crutch actions, but I propose a different way of viewing them, which is instead of kind of fighting against it and having it happen automatically, because generally it happens when you're out of energy, you're tired, and you can't your brain can't it just can't be fucked to doing whatever is the task you're trying to do. It perceives it as too difficult or too unrewarding, so it replaces it with another task that is just feels more rewarding and less difficult. uh, right? So there's no point kind of flaming yourself for it, and there's no point fighting against it because if you fight against it, it's not going to stop your brain from still wanting to take those shortcuts. It's just going to do so automatically. It's going to be like, well, less if you keep, responding negatively when, how should I say, you're going to find yourself falling into those behaviors without even realizing it. It's going to become subconscious. It's going to become automatic, um, without any thinking involved. It's not going to be a conscious decision, right? And in that sense, it actually makes sense to do the opposite. It makes sense to choose to do the easier activity on purpose, and but it's important to build the correct narrative around it, build an accurate narrative. So for example, if you give yourself an account over or I don't know if this is the correct wording. If you hold yourself accountable and accept that yes, I am doing this easier activity than the hard one because I am low on energy and I would like to relax or recover, or I just, for whatever reason, can't tolerate doing the other activity anymore. As long as you're accurately portraying that to yourself, as long as you're accurately outlining and defining that, go ahead and do the easier activity. There's nothing wrong with that. But it's important to every single time understand why you're doing that, and if you are using it as an escape, make sure that you tell yourself that and you make that very clear. And what this does is it creates a narrative that, like, what I'm doing right now is a moment of weakness. Um, I kind of hate that wording, but you could say an expression of weakness, right? And that itself creates a narrative of over time, as you keep thinking of this as like an expression of weakness, over time, naturally you're going to be like, I don't want to do this. It's- I'm not saying you will always naturally go there, but over time you'll be like, if I'm doing this out of weakness, then why am I doing this? How should I say? If you realize what need you are trying to fill by doing the activity, and you're very accurate and descriptive in that, that allows you to more accurately evaluate whether that need should be filled by that activity in that moment. And that allows you to actually choose instead of having it happen automatically by habit without you realizing and then you having no control over it. You bring back control by accurately portraying it as a narrative, even though it's on paper like a negative one. It's arguably even more useful than portraying the positive ones because all of us portray positive ones anyway. We're always like, we'll do this because we'll get this out of it. Why don't we do the same for our escapist behaviors? I'm doing this because I'll get this out of it. And a thing you'll notice a lot of the time is the narratives actually break. Um, you will realize that by building the narrative, you actually define like what you're sacrificing and for what you're getting, and that allows you to more accurately weigh the whether it's worth it or not. So, for example, I don't know, a lot of people like to talk to um or less selective in who they talk to just because they're lonely, right? And if you give yourself accountability because, okay, I'm lonely, therefore I'm talking to this person who's actually really not good for me, that makes you think, okay, so I'm spending energy to interact with this person. Well, I could have spent that energy to either A, work on myself so I'm not feeling so fucking lonely and insufficient all the time, or B, I could find someone else to talk to, right? So it opens up an extra door for control, an extra handle for you to kind of grab onto and be able to control yourself and be able to weigh your decisions. I think that's all. Yeah, ciao.